Hey guys, it's Christopher back in Honey Money SG, and welcome back to the new episode of Talking to Myself, where I discuss about personal topics and my experiences. So today I'm going to talk about why did I quit my most profitable job. Now the profitable job is kind of subjective because it's not really like a full-time job but more of like a side hustle. So what is this most profitable job, you may ask? And that is being a private tutor or home tutor. Now, if you don't know about the private tutor market, right, we could charge upwards from $20 per hour all the way even up to $100 per hour if you are teaching students from institutions of higher learning. Okay, and I started this tuition gig ever since 2011, so that's like 10 years ago from now already. So I will be sharing some experiences and insights that I have talked about after all these years of home tutoring. You see, I started teaching tuition when I had a friend who asked me if I wanted to join the tuition business as a tutor, and that's where I got started. Okay, I started in the tuition center like many others because I do not have the connections or skills or know-how to even start, right? And that's where I really started. Started from a tuition center, learn about their materials, learn about the current syllabus. And 10 years ago, I was 20 years old and I was teaching kids like 15 years old. So it was a secondary 3 syllabus. So they were like 5 years younger than me. So my first batch of students, if you're watching this, how you doing? They must be their young adults years now anyway, applying for BTO or searching for the next best credit card to look for. So eventually I worked in the tuition center for about 1 year just to hone my skills and abilities, and also to get back the knowledge that I've lost after sacrificing my brain juice for national service, right? And then at the same time, I also look for other kind of private tuition assignments, right? Because they significantly pay higher, like $30 an hour or something. And $30 an hour for a 20-year-old kid is really quite a big sum of money. So then this kind of thing has momentum going on. Once you have gotten your first private home tuition student, right, you kind of get addicted to it and then you want more assignments because it brings in so much income by the hour basis, right? And how you actually get those private tuition assignments is you can sign up for those tuition portals online. Last time it was all online by SMS. Now I'm very sure it's like Telegram or WhatsApp group, more efficient than 10 years ago. And also the market rate is like, for the first month, if you have 4 lessons per month, which is 1 lesson per week, half of the lessons commission will go to the agency and half of it will go back to you. So essentially you will only be working for 50% income on your first month. And let's say after the first lesson, the parent or the student don't like you, right? You still have to give back like half the income to the agency for recommending it, even though your assignment is gone. So that's the industry practice last time. I'm not sure if it's still relevant now. So I carry on this tuition gig all the way, even during my undergraduate studies and up to the point of my first year of full-time job after graduation. Yes, even when you had a full-time job, you can still allocate some time during weekends to rush up on your tuition assignments and get some extra side income. But why did I eventually stop this very profitable job? There's actually 2 reasons. The first one is the external reason. External meaning like environmental reasons that, like for example, the company has to send you overseas for an overseas assignment for maybe 1 or 2 years, and so you're not physically available in Singapore to do that tuition assignment anymore, and that's why you have to quit. That's just one of the example. But I really want to go through the internal reason of why I left the tuition industry, right? You see, I taught many students over all these years based on a one-on-one basis. Not sure if y'all can still recognize me on this YouTube platform, but if you do, say hi in the comments below. If you remember in my first Talking to Myself video where I mentioned about why you will never retire, I talk about things like judging every animal by their ability to climb trees. And that's my perception of the Singapore education system. Like everyone is put through the same level of tests despite having different skills and abilities that they may have inside of them that may have never been developed. And maybe that's one of the reasons why we don't have a very active sport industry or arts or creative media industry in Singapore, where everyone is just chasing paper qualifications over science and math. So one of my students actually asked me this question one day, like, what's the point of studying the Pythagoras theorem or algebra in the future when it's not in use? I didn't have a good answer for him, so I just kind of give a political answer. But now if you ask me this question again, I would say is to train your memory skills, which is really important, but this kind of thing does not train your critical thinking skills. It made me question my purpose of why am I giving tuition, right? Because I myself don't believe in the education system, and here I am now training kids of the future generation of what may not be the right direction towards the future, where the future is all about innovation and disruptive technology. And another important thing is financial literacy that is not taught in schools. So instead of teaching students one-to-one like I used to do in private home tuition, now I teach the masses on YouTube about financial literacy, just like this video you're watching right now. So in a way, I kind of expanded my abilities from teaching a single student to teaching the wider masses and creating a greater impact on this earth. And maybe that's more fulfilling to me than the very profitable home tuition business. Because even though the paycheck was good, it wasn't very fulfilling and it was quite draining, especially when you have to deal with customer service with the parents as well. So if you are an undergraduate or full-time employee still giving home tuition, I don't think it's a big deal. I think you could still carry on what we are doing, but you must understand that this business is not scalable. You are still exchanging your time for money and you'll get tired one day. But of course, the barriers to entry is really low as long as you can really speak and you have a good knowledge of the concepts and the syllabus of the current education system. Then I think you are good to go. You don't really need any kind of capital equipment. You don't need any capital startup costs. You don't need to talk to sponsors because your main customers are the parents. And it's really kind of rewarding when parents allow you or engage you to teach not only one kid, but the kid's siblings. Okay, let's say the kid has a brother or sister, and then this family has 3 kids, right? So you will teach like every generation of that kid. And it's quite interesting to see how their siblings grow up over time. Yeah, so really this video is not about bashing home tutor or the education system. It's just to share my personal experience of the home tuition business that I have engaged in up to like 5 years ago where I left the industry. So things may have changed for the better or for the worse, I don't know. But I'm fairly sure this industry will not die down because a lot of parents are still very concerned about grades of their kids. And if you are a parent watching this, please don't stress your kid over the PSLE results, O-level results, or even A-level results. They all have different skills and abilities that may not have been developed yet. So results are not everything. Not everyone needs to be a doctor, engineer, accountant, or lawyer. So try to see what your kid really likes to do and see if he really has a talent for it. And if he does, really just support him in whatever he does as long as he is able to feed himself. Because we are all in this new economy right now where not everybody needs to be an academic professional. Anyway, regarding whether you should send your kid for tuition is a very personal and subjective thing. Number 1, whether your kid really needs the tuition, and number 2, whether your kid likes to go to the tuition. And the bonus point is number 3, whether you can afford the tuition. Because if your kid doesn't even enjoy the tuition session, then I think it's just a waste of money. But sometimes I do understand from a parent's standpoint that you may be just outsourcing your teaching skills to another person who is more professional, and then you can use the same amount of time to earn better money to go and finance your tuition needs. So it really depends on what you prioritize, whether your own time or your own money, and that's why the tuition industry is so lucrative. But having said that, I myself have not gone through any kind of home tuition or even tuition classes in the community centers, not because I have really good results, but because I really don't have the money. And I don't think my parents were wealthy enough to send me to those private tuitions that charges like $20-$30 per hour at that point in time. So yeah, it really depends on your family circumstances and whether you want to outsource this kind of tuition thing to another person to help teach your kid. And so far that was my experience with private tuition on my own personal experience. So give it a thought, right? Whether am I right or wrong, comment down below. I'd love to hear your comments. And if you enjoyed this video, please remember to give a like and subscribe. My name is Christopher. This is Honey Money SG, steering young adults to financial independence.